I'm Ryan McDonald.
I'm Rich Della. Welcome everyone on the spot.
And we're
live.
That's right, we're live once again, and this time we're on time, baby.
I love it. 4 o'clock.
Yes.
You had us a little worried, but you know what? We still made it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I actually sat down about 5 seconds ago and turned on the mic, so everybody was like, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was going to start without Ryan, but you know what? I didn't get to.
But either way, let's go ahead and hear about what the show we got going on today is.
We got some great stuff today. We're going to start off. You guys want to see more of the GameSpot offices, so I'm going to take you on a tour of GameSpot Live, which is pretty much a lot of it you can see right now in the shot.
Pretty much where we're standing.
But there's more to us. There's a lot more to us. You see that, and then Ryan, after that, you'll be here with Ricardo Torres talking about
Dead or Alive Ultimate.
It's a good game.
Dead or Alive Ultimate is going to be awesome because it is the first big-time 3D fighter that is going to be fully online. When we say online, you guys don't have any idea. They're finally going to do the whole virtual arcade thing, so it'll be more than just 2 people meeting up in a room and fighting against each other for a few rounds. It's going to actually be like 6 people. So, but we'll let Ricardo come on and tell us all about that.
And then Ricardo's going to tell us about another game.
Yes, Ricardo's going to be telling us all kinds of good stuff today. But there's also some other fun stuff, right?
Let's see, we got Ricardo with Phantom Brave.
That's right.
Tim Tracy will be here to show us a great way to get some retro gaming on for cheap. It's really nice. It's these cool little handheld things. And there'll also be an interview with some gentleman from Ubisoft for
the Black Arrow actions. Tom Clancy's latest game. It's going to be awesome.
It's another one of those long titles. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six 3.
Black Arrow.
Looks
Yes.
like a good game. Also, during all of this, Alex Navarro is waiting to take you guys on in Rallysport Challenge 2 via Xbox Live with the ID tag of
Game Spotting.
Game Spotting. That's GameSpot TING. Just like you see every Sunday on the site. Look for that name, add them to the friends list, challenge them, play some games. We'll see what you can do live playing Rallysport Challenge 2. Also, we got a little special thing right there.
Yeah.
What's that you got in your hand?
This is the GameSpot to Go E3 2004 DVD. This is actually the final product that is actually shipping right now. So if you already pre-ordered it, you'll be getting it in the mail. If not today, I think it's like pretty much now anyway. So it's going to be hitting your house if you already pre-ordered it. If not, I highly recommend checking it out. We're going to have a couple clips, something we usually don't do.
And a little later, actually, we'll show you the secret way of how to find Disc 1.
Yes.
4 discs. Disc 1's kind of hidden. We're going to show you how to find it.
And of course, all along the way, we're going to be taking your questions. So go ahead, if you're a GameSpot Complete member, fill out the form right there. We're actually going to avoid the telephone action this week.
That's a good call.
Yes.
That's a great call.
Actually,
Ricardo will be taking questions early on, and then later on, Greg will be here.
That's right. So if you have any questions on any of the games we're showing today or any general questions, please go ahead and send them. And we're always taking feedback. Thank you so much for sending the feedback we got last week. On the spot at GameSpot.com is where you want to send that. And yeah. So
let's get the show started.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, a little tour right here for you. Hi everyone, welcome to your next stop on the GameSpot office tour. And what part of the office do I know better, maybe the kitchen, than the GameSpot Live area? So what do we got around here? Here's my desk. Sorry it's not neater, but we got the quiz droid, we got the trivia robot, we got a computer, Celtics 1984 World Champions. This year's the year, right? Well, anyways, moving on, we got... And well, look who's sitting right behind me, but our own Tyler Weingartner. Tyler, just wave. You're not mic'd, so we can't hear you, but that's all right.
Tyler's working on top secret stuff we can't show you right now. That's okay. If you look over Tyler's shoulder and my shoulder, you'll see our studio. This is the sit-down set. Sometimes we call it the main set. Sometimes we call it like the main set, the sit-down set. Over here, past our nice TV, you find the standing set. Zombie J holding it down. That TV, you may remember, was from our old stuff we used to shoot, but now we got much more professional stuff looking really nice right here. Nice little flat panel, good stuff. Here's our green screen, which is really cool. We're actually in the middle of making a like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque movie starring Ryan Davis and Jeff in an animated turtle. It's going to be really good. It'll probably be coming out in the fall, I think, maybe spring 2005. Can't come see GameSpot Live without seeing Craig and Jim. Hey, Craig and Jim, how you guys doing?
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
All right, working hard. We got Craig right here. Craig gets the big, huge desk because PC demos happen here a lot. And now Jim, because he's the newest guy, we put him as far away from us as possible. Right, Jim?
That's right.
Just give me a big thumbs up. I don't think we're going to see you. Great. Thanks, Jim. Keep up the good work. And here we got Tim's office. Very nice. Good posters in here. Tim is the neatest member of GameSpot Live. No question. He's also a huge Giants fan, which is why you see his best friend Barry Bonds right there, and everyone else's best friend Eric Gagne. Tim actually called Eric Gagne the best closer in baseball the other day. No, we didn't. Moving on. We have Ryan D. McDonald's office. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
No, I don't think anyone's going to be able to hear it because we don't have your mic too much, but you see Ryan here. Ryan's a big boxing fan, so he's got the Ali poster. Ryan, kind of a sharp contrast to Tim's office. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but Ryan's got his chairman award right there. Really cool chair, collector's item, one of a kind, American flag. Great office. Thanks, Ryan. We'll see you soon. Coming down here, we got our last office on the tour, Dave Toole. Dave, you want mind if we step in for a second? Here's Dave's office. Dave's office is the warmest office in all of GameSpot because he has about 17 different computers in here, all cranking at like 3 million RPMs, doing all the mad scientist stuff he does. What do you got there, Dave?
It is our new E3 DVD, which we got in the office yesterday finally, and should be shipping to people, I believe, tomorrow.
The new E3 DVD, looking pretty cool. I think we're going to learn a little more about that later in the show. Thanks, Dave.
No problem.
We'll see you around. Mad scientist, Dave Toole, everyone. And here we are back where I sit. You can see these are our signs we use. They're kind of interesting. People like them for when we're filming stuff. We need people to be quiet. We got Samus. Sometimes they fight. Yeah, it's a tough battle. Mike Vick, Stefan Marbury, my good friends. And we're back here at my desk. So Camaro parking only. Sorry, guys. We got to finish getting the rest of the show ready. But come back next week for more tours of the GameSpot office. Thanks a lot.
And we're back. So thank you, Rich, once again for giving us a little office tour. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was the GameSpot Live area, of course, which is cool, huh?
It is.
Joining me now, of course, is our good friend Ricardo Torres.
Howdy.
Ricardo, you are here to talk to us today about some action, some specific fighting game action. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
So this particular fighting game, as we alluded to at the beginning of the show, is Dead or Alive. And it used to be called Online, right? Mm-hmm. Now they changed the name to Dead or Alive Ultimate.
Yep.
But either way, that game's all about one thing and one thing only, right? It's pretty much about online?
Yes.
Excellent. Why don't you go ahead and tell us the kind of brief overview of what we're talking about here.
So it's basically, it started out as like a compilation of the first two games in the series. Mm-hmm. Original game was, like, little known fact, in arcades on Sega's Model 2 arcade hardware, which is sort of where Virtua Fighter 2 was made. And Dead or Alive was kind of made by Tecmo. Came out of the blue. People didn't really expect to find a game out of them. Did really well, and the sequel did even better, obviously. And so, since a lot of people maybe weren't familiar with first two games in the series, Tecmo's put out this compilation, but they wanted to do more than just, just another compilation of games people have already played. So they made the whole thing online. So you can actually play DOA 1 and DOA 2 online.
That's awesome. Now, actually, you can play DOA 1 online?
Yeah.
That's awesome. We got a few questions about it. Before we get to those, though,
yep.
Can you tell me a little bit more, tell the folks at home a little bit more about the actual online action? You can do up to 6 people in one game, is that right?
Yeah, it's they've got this really kind of cool thing that, Team Ninja's whole thing was they kind of missed the fact that you really can't go into an arcade these days and kind of have the same experience that we did back in the day when it was all about lining up, putting your quarters on the machine and trying to intimidate somebody off. You get something close to that with Xbox Live, but it's still not quite there because it's usually just you and one other person. But they're working it so where you're still going to be able to fight like another person, but you're going to be able to have up to 6 other spectators kind of log into the game too and watch, which is pretty dope.
And the cool thing is you can actually chat with everybody while you're actually watching, right?
So people can be, either cheering you on or, maybe saying pretty bad things.
And you can actually even move the camera around and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, you can sort of shift the camera angles just because they want to make sure people at home don't get bored, right? Just watch other people fight. So you can, zoom the camera in and out, adjust the angles and whatnot. Just, keep busy.
All kinds of stuff. Now, before we go crazy over into detail, you got something fun that's going to be coming out pretty soon here that's going to be showing more and more of the game, right?
Yeah.
So when's that going to be happening?
It's going to be happening tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
So tomorrow's going to be where people can come back to the site, read all up on Dead or Alive Ultimate?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, there's actually some, at the end of this is actually the trailer that they released at E3.
Mm-hmm.
We've been, trying to get some extra footage for you guys. The one thing they did give us, and you'll get a little sneak peek today, is the new screenshots that'll be going up with your story tomorrow.
Yep.
So the stuff that you're going to see right here, there's some new screens that are rolling through. But while we're actually taking a look at that, I'm going to throw some questions your way. Cause
go for it.
While we're sitting here, I did see some questions come in from some people. This one comes in from Mitchell Lubin from San Diego. Mitchell asks, how many characters will be in Dead or Alive Ultimate? How many polygons does each character have? And what graphic engine is being used?
All right. Let's see. First one, the cast of characters for both games are the same as they were in the original game. So it's, I think it was like 8 or something. No. So basically, go back to the first two. No. So the core cast of available characters are the same as they were in the original games. So whatever was in DOA 1 and DOA 2, you're going to have in Ultimate.
Excellent.
And then, what was the other one?
He asked how many polygons, but...
Polygon counts vary, obviously, because of the characters. But yeah.
Graphics engine?
Graphics engine, this game's actually using kind of the next generation of, well, here's the thing. Dead or Alive 1 is pretty much a port of the Saturn version, so it looks like a really nice Saturn game. Dead or Alive 2 is a little different because they didn't just kind of port the engine over for that. They created a new one. So what you're using for Dead or Alive 2 is kind of the next generation of the Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball engine.
This one comes from Craig from Tucson, Arizona. He wants to ask, are there going to be any tournaments for Dead or Alive Ultimate?
They're looking at doing a lot of stuff. I mean, they haven't really announced their plans officially yet, but I mean, since their whole thing is about competition and about letting people come together and play against each other, I think it's pretty safe. I mean, you look at what they're doing with Master Ninja Tournament.
Right.
Like Tecmo seems to really be into
the whole online tournament thing. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. This comes from Miller Guy. He is in Los Angeles, California, and asks, this is actually a good question. Will the experience in Dead or Alive Ultimate offline be good as it is online?
It's, well, I mean, DOA for DOA, the original DOA, like the Saturn version, that's going to be pretty much exactly what you got on the Saturn, which is kind of new for people because the Saturn version never came out here. DOA 2 is a little different. I mean, the core game is going to be the same, but there are certain things that you're going to be doing in DOA 2 offline that will affect what's going on in DOA online. So,
I think we got a question for. I think we got time for one more question.
Yep.
This is from Dan Davis in Dallas. Dan asked, "Will Ryu look as good as he did in Ninja Gaiden if you've seen his model?"
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we did. They're kind of keeping him more in line with the rest of the cast in that kind of look and graphics engine. So he doesn't look quite as flashy, but still looks good.
Excellent. We're going to actually move on now and go ahead and skip on because we can sit here and talk all day about Dead or Alive Ultimate. But tomorrow, come back to the site around 3:30 p.m., right? 3:30 p.m., we're going to post a preview with Ricardo's all kinds of good information, so be sure to check back for that. Right now, we're going to check in with our good friend Rich Gallup and Alex, who, of course, are over playing Rallysport Challenge 2. You over there, Rich?
Oh, I'm over here, Ryan. I'm sitting with Alex, and I'm going to be honest with you, Alex is a little struggling a little bit here, Alex. This is your second race. You're playing three people right now. We got Greg Hammer, I'm guessing, in a nod to Greg the Hammer Valentine. We got someone like Red Eye 666, and we got someone, what was it? Made the Master. Now, your first race was on the rally course, and you're doing pretty well. One of the three took off immediately. They're gone.
Yeah, I never had a chance against that guy.
You're second place, running strong, and you hit an end of you hit like a fence pole, and that was it.
Yeah, that was the end of it right there. I'm going to change the settings now. Yeah, it's just, I'll be honest with you, I haven't played this game probably about a month. Been playing more Colin McRae recently.
Oh, that's going to mess you up a little bit?
This is a different kind of game. This ain't the same kind of game that Colin McRae is, and you gotta kind of readjust yourself. I'm okay with that.
So then you left the rally course and you went to Argentina, and you were hot out the gates. You were flying. You did all right. You were in first place, cruising along for a good mile, half a mile, tenth of a mile, 5 feet, something.
Yeah.
And then someone came up from behind you and T-boned you, and you went off a cliff.
And that was that. That was the end of that. Some jackass decides to ram me from behind, and that's the end of that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's not cool. We'll let you play another race with these guys, and we'll move on to some other people. Now, if you want to play against Alex, he's setting up some races under the username GameSpotting. This is, of course, Rallysport Challenge 2. We're going to get this other race underway. Ryan, Phantom Brave, how's that looking over there?
Phantom Brave, that's actually why I got my good man Ricardo Torres sitting here, since he's the one that actually plays all these games and gets to tell us all the fun stuff about them. So, Ricardo, Phantom Brave, what is the magic with this game?
Magic is, if you like 2D strategy games, this is probably what you've been waiting for. It's by Japanese developer Nipponichi, who most folks know from like Disgaea and La Pucelle. It is this really cool turn-based strategy game that actually managed to do a lot of innovative things, which, you know, it's really good to see, because I mean, people haven't really been putting too much effort into 2D anymore.
Right.
You know, it's just kind of like done, over with, just leave it for the GBA. But this has, you know, this has a lot of the kind of the Disgaea flavor, in that you have really detailed big sprites with some polygon stuff going on, special effects, some modern touches just to kind of keep it fresh, and a really crazy and deep combat system that, you know, isn't really like anything you've seen before.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, for somebody like me that, you know, I don't get a lot of 2D RPG going on.
Yeah.
Is this something that's going to appeal to me, or is this something that's just for the hardcore?
It's a change of pace. I mean, I think we're at a point now where, you know, people could stand to, you know, change up their diets a little bit, try something new. It's got kind of a deep combat system, but one of the best things about it is it holds your hand at the beginning, and it kind of eases you into it. So you'll get the basics down, and it does get to be a lot more complicated later on. But once you have the basics, I think you can stay with it. You can hang.
Well, now, when is this game actually going to be coming out?
It's coming out August.
August.
Mm-hmm.
The build that we're looking at here, is it pretty much representative of what's going to come out?
Still kind of early.
Really?
It's like what they're calling like a preview version of it, so it's not super done, but it's close.
What about the voice work and stuff? I heard some stuff in there.
Voice work, I think they're still polishing out, but that's probably pretty far along.
Really? Now, this stuff that we're checking out here, what is this, a little cutscene?
Yeah, this is like one of the nice little like vanity sections they've got, just to show off the really gorgeous 2D art they got in the game. This is pretty much the way the story's told. You have a lot of cinemas and a lot of conversations between characters. I mean, it's kind of old school in that way, because, you know, back in the day, just a lot of talking.
I got a question for you, if you don't mind taking it.
Go crazy.
This comes from JoJo in California. He asks, will the leveling be like it was in Disgaea? Will we be able to get past the level 100?
Oh, God. Lord, man, I didn't get that high. No, not sure.
The game is not out yet. We will tell you when we get further into it, but that's a good question.
But it's similar to Disgaea, but it's kind of a different system, because this time you're controlling phantoms. Like, you play this little green-haired girl, and she's actually not so good at the fighting, but she's really good at like summoning like phantoms.
I gotcha.
So
I was checking it out earlier, and it was like, I mean, it seemed like there's a whole lot to it.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was pretty involving. So, alrighty, I think we're gonna go ahead and check in with. We actually recorded this thing a little while ago. There's gonna be some stuff that Tim's gonna be showing us, some controller action, some classic gaming. I think gonna be some fun stuff, and I think we're gonna be ready for that. I'm gonna go ahead and check these questions real quick though, and take a look at it. I know they're pouring in, so thank you so much for sending them in. This one goes to Alex Navarro. Do you hear that over there, Alex and Rich?
I hear nothing.
I can hear it.
Excellent. This comes from, and I'm so sorry, I'm never ever going to pronounce that name right. I'm sorry. This comes from Illinois. And the question is, where's the big rigs, Alex?
What? What do you mean, where's the big rigs?
He's a fan of your big rig video review.
Well, that's great, but what do you mean? Where's the big rigs? I ain't playing no more big rigs. I ain't never playing that again.
And no one should.
For those of you that don't
ever play that game.
For those of you that don't know, Alex Navarro is one of the elite people here at GameSpot that have gotten to do a lot of bad video reviews. Bad meaning good, except for bad games. So if you haven't seen it, check out the Big Rigs. Is it called Big Rigs? What is it called? Big Rigs what?
Big Rigs Over the Road Racing.
Big Rigs Over the Road Racing.
I'm going to take this opportunity real quick, like, just to say something about that. That game, to many gamers, is like their Kennedy assassination. Like, that is just like the moment, like, the second that review went up, everyone remembers where they were, they remember everything, and it's like, I keep getting questions about it. It's a terrible game, people. Don't let it run your lives like that.
We actually do see
don't focus on it.
We actually do see quite a few questions coming about the Alex Navarro and the Big Rigs action, how that all came about. But right now, we're actually going to check in with Tim and check out some classic gaming on New Age controllers. Go ahead and take it away.
I'm here with Tim. Tim, what are you doing right now?
Right now I'm playing some Miss Pac-Man.
How are you playing Miss Pac-Man? This is a TV. This is an arcade.
Super easy. It's this little box here from our friends at Jack's Pacific.
Uh-huh.
Probably seen something similar to it. They sell them at Walmart.
It's like $20 or so, probably.
$20. This thing has 5 different games on it. You got Miss Pac-Man, Pole Position, Galaga, Xevious, and Mappy.
So these are all Namco games in this little bit right here?
Yeah, they're old school classic Namco games.
And that's totally Miss Pac-Man right there.
It's totally Miss Pac-Man. And if you want to switch out of games, just press one button, put out to a main menu, and there you go.
Let's play some Mappy, sure.
Mappy.
So how do you hook this up to the TV exactly?
There's 2 little wires that, commonly known as your yellow and white.
Oh, okay.
You got it.
RCA cables.
Yeah, RCA cables. You got a video and an audio.
Mm-hmm.
And most TVs have that front input. Just plug it right in there, and you're good to go.
So that's cool for the Namco games. What other versions are we talking about here? I heard something about Mortal Kombat, maybe?
Yeah, there is a Mortal Kombat one in the works. So we haven't seen much of it. We actually haven't seen it at all, but the word's out there that it's coming. There's also this one, which is an Atari Paddle. It's got a whole bunch of Atari 2600 games.
And this has 2 controllers.
2 controllers, so it's a 2-player.
Very cool. And what do we have here?
This is another different one. It's a pinball game. So there's 3 different pinball games on there. You got your flippers on the top and at your thumbs. You got a fully analog plunger. And then if you smack the side of the controller, you get nudge action.
So you straight tilt the pinball table right there.
Tilt the pinball table, just like that.
Oh, that's cool. Well, to demonstrate how easy this is to use, why don't we play some Warlords on the Atari machine?
Let's do it.
So I'm just going to hook this up right to the front of my TV. Tim, you can hit the power on it. Switch my input. And there's some Atari.
There we go.
Sweet. Let's play.
Let's do this.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to play some Warlords. And while we do this, I'm going to send it back to Ryan. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Hey, you're welcome.
And I'm totally going to own you at Warlords.
Yeah, right.
Joining me today, we have some friends from Ubisoft here in the studio. They're going to be showing off the latest in the Tom Clancy universe. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what we're looking at today?
My name is Mike Jeffress. I am the brand manager for the Rainbow Six series. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. What are we taking a look at?
We're looking at Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow.
Right on. Now, for people that are big fans of Tom Clancy's series, this is one of the biggest Xbox Live games was, of course, Rainbow Six 3, right?
Yes, it still is. There's over 350,000 people playing this game on Xbox Live, so it's a huge hit. Microsoft is a huge supporter of this, and we're actually implementing some of their new features for Xbox Live in this game.
Now, this particular, the Black Arrow action, we're going to see this in, when's it coming out?
It's coming out August.
August. So we're pretty much almost there.
Almost.
Now, what can fans of the series expect to see in this one?
There's going to be a lot of new stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff for the single-player component as well as the multiplayer side as well. There's been improvements to the AI on the single-player as well as some new lighting effects, some changes to the gameplay, a little bit more action-packed, a lot more firefights, which is really, really cool. And you'll actually see that when you take a look at the game.
Right on. Any different modes? I know one of my...
There's been 3 new modes added to the game. So one's been included on the single-player side, which is called Lone Rush, and on the multiplayer side, 2 on the multiplayer side. One's called Retrieval, the other one's called Total Conquest.
Excellent. Now, can you go into detail a little bit?
Yeah, the Lone Rush one on the single player is you by yourself going through these levels, through these missions by yourself, where you have a timer. And you have to get through the level within a certain amount of time, which is a lot different than the normal gameplay that people actually are used to, because you have to run through it. It's not sort of the stealth game where you have to creep and make sure everything's clear in a room before you actually go into it. So you sort of have to go into it, guns blazing and firing, and get through the level as quickly as you can.
Right on. What about the multiplayer?
On the multiplayer ones, those are what everybody's really going to gravitate to since this game is so huge on Xbox Live. Retrieval is where you actually have a canister that you have to pick up and bring it to the other person's base. So as you get closer and you're firing, you're killing people more and more, and people are coming out and coming after you. You don't have a weapon when you're carrying the canister, so you're going to have your teammates with you in order to defend, unless you want to drop it, then start firing. So that's going to be a really action-packed adrenaline rush. The other one is called Total Conquest, where you have these radar dishes placed in certain areas of the map where you have to go over there and take control of them. And you'll actually see this represented by a green light or a red light on the actual radar dishes, and you belong to a red or green team. So if you're the red team, you see a green one, you want to go over there, but you got to be careful when you go over there, because there's usually somebody sniping. As soon as you reach out there, you're going to be whacked. So it's better to have some cover when you're up there and changing it to your team's control. So it's a lot of fun. People are going to really get into it.
That's awesome. How many new multiplayer levels? You know,
there's going to be 14 new multiplayer maps. The single player is going to have 10 missions, so it's a pretty big campaign that you're actually going to run through. It's all based on a conflict that's happening in the sort of Middle East, sort of in the Black Sea region, and that's where we came up with the name Black Arrow. Arrow is sort of a code term in the military for missile. So we sort of combine those together, and it's really fun. So if anybody asking where do these names come from, there you go. That's what it is.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for coming by and showing us this game.
No problem.
I guess the people on the site can expect to see more in the coming week. Developer interview plus more exclusive coverage. So.
All right, we're back now here with Alex, Rallysport Challenge 2. Now, in case you're looking at this time right now, the screen, you're seeing Alex is 4th out of 4. I told Alex to take a dive because I was worried we weren't going to get live footage on the air and that the race was going to end right when we came back. So the timing worked out. I said, Alex, could you drive into that pond for me? And Alex, you said...
Apparently I said yes.
And he did. I really appreciate it. How are you doing this time around? You doing any better? Or?
Oh, I'm doing swimmingly. Thank you, Rich.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, the guys in the booth are telling me to make an apology when the show started. We have these new mics, and they have off, on, and in the middle. They're standby. Who put standby in a mic? I was on standby, so if you thought your speakers were broken because I was sounding a little echoey, that's my bad. But speaking of bads, Ryan, I think the city you're thinking of is Tucson, Arizona, right, Ryan?
I apologize greatly, Craig. It is, in fact, Tucson, Arizona. So my apologies there. Also, last week I did forget one other thing. It was like I got some emails about it too. It was like apparently I just forgot about Cameo last week. Sorry about that. We do have some cool stuff up on the site, and there's a few questions that we're getting in right now about our good friend Phantom Brave, and for all that stuff, it's actually we just put up the preview right now, correct?
I believe so.
So yeah, so if you check the site, the regular game site, there's a ton of new info, and you'll even find a video preview and everything there. So go ahead and check out the site for more Phantom Brave questions. But joining me now, of course, is our good friend Greg Cassavin. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. We got a bunch of questions. I know I was letting you look at some of them. So some of the questions, and I'm gonna go a little light at first.
Sure.
This is a good question. I do like this actually. This comes from Uchendo Nowakachu. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that right. He comes from Havana, Cuba. His question is, after reading Greg Casavin's GameSpot article last week, Vin Diesel becoming the first video game star, I was wondering which real-life actor do you think could become the next great video game star? And this question's for everyone.
That's a really tough question. I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head because, as I guess I often point out, I do spend a lot more time playing games than going to the movies. Really, I don't know. I don't follow. You know, I don't read 17 or anything like that. But I sort of figure it's going to be someone in,
Vin
kind
Diesel
of
makes sense, right?
Yeah, Vin Diesel. I mean, apparently he's a big gamer.
He owns a video game company.
Yeah, he founded the company and everything, and he did work on the Chronicles of Riddick. He's credited as having contributed to the game's dialogue and actually to the game's design.
Wow.
So who knows how much influence he had over that game's eventual success? But it's hard to say. I do think some other a smart person out there is going to realize that if they're having a lot of success doing action movies or something, maybe they could lend their same talents to making cool games. Like I could see someone like The Rock being pretty popular among gamers, not just from the wrestling angle, but just as sort of an action hero.
Just a cool guy.
Yeah.
wouldn't mind
And
seeing
of
my
course,
games.
Microsoft has touted them around
Right.
at a few events, so it wouldn't be too great of a surprise.
Here's another question. This comes from David, who's coming out of Georgia. His question is, has GS managed to extract any info, and I've actually seen this question come up a few times, has GS managed to extract any info from Activision/id over Doom 3's release date?
Yeah, I mean, you could see kind of the sordid history of Doom 3's release date just by going to our game space and looking in the news section. There have been a number of kind of boy cried wolf type incidents where the release date seemed to come up and then it changed. So id Software all along has been saying when it's done, and actually when it's done is the first sentence of my upcoming GameSpot article this weekend, which is all about release dates. But apparently Doom 3 is coming out pretty soon. It sounds like it's going to come out sometime this summer. Nothing is confirmed, though, so we'll just have to see. I personally think it's kind of the race is on between that game and Half-Life 2, which sound like they're going to come out at a similar time, hopefully.
Any speculation on what, like, exactly? Do you think September?
It's sounding, I mean, I think the present indications are that both games are supposed to go gold or something in August, so...
Yeah. I would figure about that time.
Let's cross our fingers, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Here's another question that comes up. It's about our coin-op arcade. They want to know who is the best at Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 currently.
There's an easy answer to that question, and the answer is Jeff Gerstmann. But that's because he's been practicing, man. I haven't played Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 since like, man, that game is almost 10 years old. So yeah. I was pretty embarrassed at how I'd completely forgotten all of my, like, everything about that game. But the Mortal Kombat games are so much about, like, memorizing really specific moves. It's not just, you know, strategies of, like, dragon punches and uppercuts and stuff. It's knowing, weird little button combos. So it's all coming back to me, and I'm surprised at how well that game holds up, actually. It's still really fun.
It is. I can't believe how much fun I have with that game. But the other thing I can't believe how much fun I've been having lately, and I think you would agree with me, is our GameSpot to Go E3 2004 thing.
Yes.
We're almost out of time, but before we go, we did pull up a couple excerpts of the documentary that's on it. There's an hour-long documentary that is awesome. I mean, if you guys, it's cool because it's not just about us, it's about E3. It's about everything, basically, that is in and around E3. It's really, really cool. So the parties, you know, all that different stuff is all in there. Actually, here's the little clip right now. I'm actually just let it roll because this is just a little trailer we kind of cut real quick. It actually includes a majority of the beginning of the show, so I'll just be quiet and let the music play. Documentary, you know, we just basically pulled out the first like minute of the opening and dumped in a few of our favorite shots in there and give you kind of a taste of it. There's a ton of cool stuff in there. We're actually going to use an excerpt of you talking about the whole Booth Babe thing, I mean, it's an awesome section, but we have one more clip that we're going to show you before we go, and that is of Rich Gallup. He edited together a beautiful, I mean, I think you'd agree, it's one of the most beautiful awards E3 thing ever. So here's a look at it.
It's our Best of E3 awards on the DVD.
All right, so yeah, here's my interpretation of Jungle Beat. It's a platformer with drums. What?
It's not a controller. You're not like analog control. You're sitting there smacking this one to run to the right. So weird. You're smacking this one to run to the left. It's the kind of weird that Nintendo really needs to get back into in a serious way. And you're just going, ah! That game's going to be awesome.
So we picked Mech Assault 2 as our best Xbox game and best shooter game, which came as a surprise to a lot of people who were expecting to see Halo 2.
Halo 2, of course, looked great at E3. They let us play one, kind of capture the flag map for a little while, and that was fun, as capture the flag shooters tend to be. But Mech Assault 2 was the Xbox game that impressed us the most at the show. We got to fight against these huge towering mechs, which you can now get out of, and you can jack other players for their mechs. And
Mech Jack!
And the scale of the battle, the carnage that's happening on the battlefield, it really outclassed pretty much every other shooter at the show.
So the one thing they definitely wanted me to do, and they even wrote it up here, is to make sure I show you how to find disc 1. It's actually not that big a mystery, but it's a 4-disc set. It is beautiful. If you have never seen this, I guess you haven't because it's just shipping right now. But yeah, I couldn't be prouder. This is, I guess, this is our 4th disc, is that right? Yeah, this is our 4th disc compilation set, and so yeah, it's beautiful. But disc 1 actually is hiding right behind here. A little cool pull-out thing that comes out and shows you what is on all the discs. But yeah, so there's where disc 1 would be hiding. But of course, we pulled it out so we could pull some excerpts. So before I go, I'm going to toss it over to Rich and check in with him one last time. Rich, take it away.
Hey, how's it going? Actually, we have a kind of pool going around the office right now as to what day is the first day we're going to get a post saying, where's disc 1? So I'm not going to try swaying it at all, but Saturday is looking pretty good if you need some tech support on the E3 DVD finding disc 1. Alex?
We don't answer no tech support on Sunday, Rich. You lose already.
All right, my bad. So, all right, here we go. We're on our last race. The 3 guys, Red Eye, 666, Greg Hammer, and the Master Man, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're going to hook them up with some, made the Master. We're going to hook them up with some loot. So apparently they've been playing with unlocked cars the whole time.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that this Xbox ain't got no unlocked cars on it, and I'm sitting here using the crappy-ass stock cars.
Of course, whether or not you have an unlocked car, that was still a hill you just drove off of into icy water.
Hey, with an unlocked car, I totally could have stopped that.
You totally,
I totally would have stopped that from happening.
Like, the cars fly.
Yeah.
Unlocked cars, they just pop out the wings. You'd be great.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, well, thanks to these 3 guys for playing. So next week we'll have another editor playing another game. Stay tuned. You guys can go head-to-head with them or womp them like they did Alex. But thanks, Alex. Thanks to these guys. And Brian, back over to you.
Thanks, Rich. Looks like a lot of fun. I can't wait to get over there. And I'm sorry, at some point in On the Spot's future, I have to be able to play against people on Fight Night 2000. Or Fight Night 2004, rather. It's like I got to get on that action. But we're out of time, and I can see Ricardo over there. He needs me to go help him out with some business. We didn't get the okay by any chance okay. Well, hopefully next week will be a very extra special episode of On the Spot, so be sure not to miss that. That, of course, comes on next Thursday, same time, same place, 4 o'clock here, GameSpot.com. For the whole studio crew, thank you so much. For Gabe Cassavin, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks.
And one last thing before we go is Jeff Gershman taking you home with Karaoke Revolution 2. Take it away, Jeff.
Oh, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby. How was I supposed to know that something wasn't right here? Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. And now you're out of sight. Yeah, show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now what we got. My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, baby, the reason I breathe is you. Boy, you got me blinded. Oh, pretty baby, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. It's not the way I planned it. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now what we got. My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Yeah, shouts out to all my party people keeping it tight on the, yeah, Bobby Brown style. One love. I gotta go.
Touching you, touching me, touching you. God, you're touching me. Ah.